I remember the day I died. Not actually died. Just the day I realized I would never get to live like a normal person again. I was 12. It was raining. My mother dropped a glass in the kitchen. The sound of it shattering is still so clear I can hear it like it happened a few seconds ago. Every fragment hitting the tile floor, every droplet splashing up, even the sharp, panicked breaths she took afterward. She said, "It's just a glass." But I knew. The problem wasn't the glass. It was that I would never forget it. Never. 2 years later, the doctor called it hyperthymesia. 10 years later, I called it hell. My name is Xander. I'm 21, a junior at a university in Boston, and I remember everything. Not in a good memory way. I remember it all. You know that feeling when you hear an old song and every memory suddenly floods back? Multiply that by 1,000. No pause button. No fast forward. No off switch. Every day I live, and at the same time I'm trapped inside every single day that came before it. All at once. The first day of the fall semester, I got to campus an hour early. I always arrive early. Fewer people. Fewer sounds. Fewer new things to remember. The morning air was cold and damp. Maple leaves stuck to the soles of my shoes, making a tiny sound, crunch crunch, that I knew I would remember forever. I hate sounds like that, because they never disappear. I was standing in front of the library when I heard music. Not from a speaker, from a person. A soft bass leaking through headphones that weren't sealed tight enough. I turned my head, and that was the first time I saw him. Wilder. He was leaning against the railing, one leg bent, sunlight cutting through his blonde hair and making it almost glow. Eyes closed, head nodding gently to the beat, completely detached from the world around him. The kind of person I couldn't understand. The kind of person who shouldn't exist in my life. I should have walked away. I knew that, but I didn't, and that was the first mistake. "You've been staring at me." His voice cut through my thoughts. I froze. He had opened his eyes. He was looking straight at me. Fuck. I wasn't. "I counted," Wilder said, pulling his headphones down. "Exactly 17 seconds. I stayed silent. I hate being measured. "You're standing about 3 meters away?" he continued, tilting his head. "Or 2.8? 2.83, I answered instantly. No thinking. Just reflex. A beat of silence. Wilder blinked, then laughed. "Okay, now I'm sure." "Sure of what?" "That you're the most interesting kind of person." "I'm not interesting." "Everyone interesting says that." I should have left, but I stayed standing there. Second mistake. "Wilder," he said, offering his hand. I looked at that hand. Clear veins, slightly calloused fingertips, probably plays guitar. A small, healed scar near the wrist. I memorized all of it, but I didn't touch it. "I don't shake hands," I said. "Germaphobe?" "No." "So, personal issue?" I didn't answer. Wilder didn't push. He just pulled his hand back, shrugged, and looked at me with this strange expression. Not uncomfortable. Not simple curiosity. It was like I was a story he wanted to read until the very last page. I didn't like that. "Xander," I said finally. "Yeah, I figured." Wilder smiled faintly. "It suits you." "What does?" "The whole controlling everything vibe." I frowned. "I don't control everything." "You just corrected me by 0.17 meters. It's just the truth." "Yeah," he nodded. "And you need it to be exact." I didn't deny it, because he was right, and I hated that. We were in the same class, cognitive psychology. I remember every word the professor said, every slide, every example. "The human brain is designed to forget," he said. "If you remembered everything, you couldn't survive." The whole class laughed. I didn't. Behind me, Wilder tapped lightly on the back of my chair. Sounds like you. I didn't turn around. You don't know anything about me. Yeah, he said, but I want to. A simple sentence, but it stayed in my head, repeating, never stopping. That afternoon I hid in the library. Like always, the only place where the world had order. Everything had a place, a system, a reason to exist. Not like people, not like emotions, not like Wilder. I figured you'd be here. I closed my eyes for 1 second, then opened them. Third mistake. Don't you have anything else to do? I asked. I do, Wilder said, pulling out the chair across from me. But I chose this. To bother me? To understand you. I gave a dry smile. You'll get bored fast. No, he shook his head. I don't think so. His eyes were more serious than I expected, no longer playful like before, and that felt dangerous. That night I lay on my bed, white ceiling, silence, but my head wasn't silent. Everything came back, like a movie that never ends. The sound of the glass breaking when I was 12, the doctor's voice, the maple leaves under my feet, and Wilder, 17 seconds, 83 meters, that smile, that look. I want to understand you. I clenched my fist. I didn't need anyone to understand me. I didn't want anyone stepping into the mess inside my head. But for the first time, there was someone who wasn't bored by me, wasn't scared of me, didn't leave. And the scariest part was, I remembered exactly how it felt when he looked at me, too clearly, to the point that I wasn't sure I wanted to forget anymore. The next morning, I woke up before the alarm. 6:12. Not around 6. Not a little after 6. 6:12. I didn't need to look at the clock to know. My body remembered. My brain remembered. Everything inside me always remembered. I lay still, eyes open, staring at the familiar white ceiling. A small crack in the top right corner, 7 centimeters long, curving slightly like a question mark. I had measured it twice, not because I needed to, just because couldn't not know. I left the dorm at 7:03. The wind was 2 degrees colder than yesterday. I knew because the feeling on my skin was different, because the scarf I wore yesterday felt just right today. Little details like that. Other people don't notice. I'm trapped in them. I met Wilder at 7:18. Not by chance. He was sitting on the steps in front of the lecture hall, coffee in hand, staring into the distance like he was thinking about something profound. But when he saw me, he smiled, immediately, like I was the reason. Good morning, 83 meters, Wilder said. I stopped. I'm not standing 83 meters away anymore. Yeah, he nodded, looking me up and down. Now it's about 1:17. Wilder laughed. Damn, Xander, you really don't miss anything. It's not a choice. The answer came out faster than I meant. Wilder was quiet for a second. Just 1 second. But I noticed. Not a choice, he repeated. I should have stayed silent. Should have walked away. But have you ever remembered something you wanted to forget? I asked. Wilder tilted his head. Yeah, plenty. So what if you could never forget? He didn't answer right away. The wind blew, messing up his hair a little. The coffee cup in his hand tilted 3 degrees. Not enough to spill, but enough for me to notice. I think, Wilder said slowly, I'd go crazy. I smiled faintly. Exactly. We sat next to each other in class that day. Not by coincidence. Wilder chose it. I need a backup brain, he said, pulling his chair beside mine. You seem perfect for the job. I'm not a tape recorder. No, he smiled. You're the upgraded version. I wasn't sure if that was a compliment. In the middle of the lecture, the professor played a video. A man talking about his most painful memory. He was crying, voice shaking. The image trembled slightly, unsteady camera. The whole class went quiet. And I remembered, not just the video, but everything it triggered. A chain reaction. Dominoes. The sound of the glass breaking. A door slamming. A voice loud, angry. I clenched my fist. Breathe. 1, 2, 3. Xander. Wilder's voice pulled me out. I realized I had stopped taking notes. That almost never happened. You okay? He asked, voice lower than usual. I nodded. I'm fine. You're a terrible liar. I'm not. You just gripped your pen so hard the tip broke. I looked down. He was right. I hadn't noticed. After class, I tried to leave as fast as possible. But, come with me. I stopped. No. Yes. I don't. 10 minutes, Wilder said. If you still want to hate me after that, I'll disappear. I frowned. I don't hate you. Not yet. I don't know why I agreed. Maybe because I was curious. Or maybe because I was tired. Tired of always being in control. Tired of always remembering. We went to a small cafe 2 blocks from campus. Not Starbucks. Quieter. Fewer people. Less data to remember. What do you drink? Wilder asked. Water. Just water. I don't like coffee. Or, you remember the smell too clearly and hate it? I looked at him. Wilder just shrugged. Wild guess. I didn't answer, because he guessed right. We sat in the farthest corner. Soft lighting. Not too bright. Not too dark. I realized I could breathe a little easier. So, Wilder rested his chin on his hand, looking at me. You want to tell me? Tell you what? That not a choice thing. I stayed silent. I had never told anyone. Not once. But I remember everything, I said. No circling. No explanation. Just the truth. Wilder didn't laugh. Didn't doubt me. Didn't say, that sounds made up. He just asked. Everything like what? I took a breath. Like the way you're sitting right now. Like how you tilt your head 12 degrees when you're curious. Like the scar on your wrist that's from about 2 weeks ago. Wilder looked down at his wrist. Silent. And I will remember this moment, I continued. Tomorrow. Next year. 10 years from now. It won't fade. It won't change. Neither of us spoke. Only the distant sound of the espresso machine. Sounds exhausting, Wilder said quietly. I smiled. You have no idea. Yeah, he nodded. But I can try. I looked at him. Why? Because... Wilder hesitated for a second. I don't think you should be alone with it. That sentence hit me harder than any memory. That night when I lay in bed, everything came back, like always, but this time, there was something new. Wilder's voice. I can try. I closed my eyes, and for the first time in a very long time, the memories weren't just a burden. They were something I wanted to keep. I started letting Wilder into my life. Not officially. No clear decision. He just kept showing up. And I didn't push him away. 3 days after the cafe, Wilder already knew my class schedule. Not because I told him. Because he figured it out. You always leave the dorm at 7:03, he said, walking backward while looking at me. And you have class at 8 o'clock on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So today. Wednesday, I cut in. I guessed you'd be walking this way, Wilder finished, smiling like he'd just solved a math problem. You're stalking me. I'm studying you, he corrected. 2 different things. Not that different. They are, Wilder shrugged. Stalking is creepy. This is caring. I didn't answer, but I didn't deny it either. We started sitting together in class. At first it was coincidence. Then, it became routine. Wilder didn't take notes. He talked. Not loudly, just loud enough for me to hear. Do you ever want to turn it off? He asked during one lecture. Turn what off? Your brain. Of course. Then why don't you try not thinking? I turned to look at him. You just told someone who can't forget to try not thinking? Wilder shrugged. Sounds ridiculous, but maybe it works. It doesn't. Have you tried? I stayed silent, because the answer was no. That afternoon, Wilder dragged me out to the campus lawn. We're doing an experiment, he said. I didn't agree to this. You followed me anyway. That's not agreement. Close enough. I sighed. Whatever. We sat on the grass behind the library. Few people. Quiet. Gentle breeze. Okay, Wilder said, lying on his back, hands behind his head. Simple exercise. I don't like the word simple when it comes from you. Just trust me once. No. Wilder laughed. Fine, don't trust me. Just do it. I crossed my arms. Listen. Close your eyes. Why? Just do it. I looked at him for a few seconds. Then, for reasons I still don't understand, I did. Now, Wilder said, voice slowing down, don't try to remember anything. I almost laughed. You're asking for the impossible. I know, he said. That's why I'm helping. The wind blew. I heard the sound of leaves. Someone talking far away. A car driving down the street. Listen, Wilder continued. Don't think about yesterday. Don't think about tomorrow. Just think about this. This what? The sound. I frowned. What do you hear? I was quiet for a moment, then answered. Wind, leaves, car about 50 meters away. Yeah, Wilder said. Keep it there. Where? In the present. I don't know how long I sat like that. Maybe 3 minutes. Maybe 7. But in one very short moment. Very, very short. Everything went quiet. No memories. No images. No past. Only the wind. I opened my eyes. My heart was beating faster than usual. What did you just do? I asked. Wilder stayed lying there, eyes closed, smiling faintly. I didn't do anything. No. Something. You did it yourself. I looked at him, said nothing. See? Wilder opened his eyes and turned his head toward me. You're not always trapped. It was only a few seconds. A few seconds is still progress. I didn't want to admit it, but he was right. Thank you, I said. The word felt strange on my tongue. Wilder raised an eyebrow. Wow, I just made Xander say, thank you. Don't make it a big deal. No, I'm marking this day on the calendar, he grinned. Annual celebration. I shook my head, but I smiled too, a little. Everything should have stopped there, at a stable, manageable level, but didn't. A week later, we were in the library again. Wilder sat across from me but didn't say anything. Rare. I'm studying, he explained when he saw me looking. You? Yeah. Shocked? I'm processing. Wilder smiled, then went back to his book. Quiet, comfortable, dangerous. Xander. Yeah. Do you ever remember a person? I paused. What do you mean? Not an event. Person. I stared at the page, but I wasn't reading. I remember everyone, I said. No, Wilder shook his head. I mean, remember how they felt. I didn't answer right away, because that question wasn't simple. Yes, I said finally. And it's worse. Why? Because events can be endured, I said slowly, but emotions can't. Wilder was quiet. Is there someone like that for you? He asked. I clenched my fist. There was. What about now? I still remember. Neither of us said anything more, but the air changed. Heavier, deeper, truer. That night I couldn't sleep. The memories came back, like always, but this time, not Wilder. It was a voice, a face, a feeling I had tried to bury, but couldn't, never could. I sat up, breathed. 1, 2, 3. It didn't work. I grabbed my phone. 7:48 p.m. No, not now. I shouldn't. I put it down, then picked it up again. New message. From Wilder. You okay? I stared at the screen, heart beating faster. Why are you asking? I don't know, he replied almost instantly. Just a feeling. I stared at those words for a long time. I'm not okay, I typed. Fingers paused. Deleted. Typed again. I'm fine. Sent. 3 seconds later. You're lying again. I let out a long, slow breath. Where are you? Wilder asked. In my room. Stay there. Why? I'm coming. I stared at the screen. Part of me wanted to say, don't. Another part didn't. I didn't stop him, and that was the next mistake. I heard the knock at 8:12 p.m. 3 knocks. Not fast. Not slow. Exactly the way Wilder did everything, looked casual but had its own rhythm. I stood in front of the door. Didn't open it right away. My hand was on the doorknob, but I didn't turn it. I knew if I opened it, everything would change, and I wasn't sure I was ready. Xander, Wilder's voice came from the other side. I know you're standing there. I closed my eyes. Of course he knew. You breathe louder when you're stressed, he added. And I just heard it. I tightened my grip. Fuck. You planning to leave me out here all night? Wilder asked. I opened the door. He was standing there. Gray hoodie, hair slightly wet. Probably ran through the rain. A few water droplets still clinging to his neck, sliding down his collarbone. I noticed. I always noticed. Hey, he said. Hey. A moment of silence. Close. Too close. Can I come in? Wilder asked. I stepped back. Not an answer, but enough. My room was neat. Too neat. Everything had its place. Nothing extra. No trace of chaos. Except me. Wilder stepped inside, looked around once. Wow, he whistled softly. Do you live here, or is this a museum? I like everything clear. Yeah, I can see that. He nodded, fingers hovering lightly over the desk, then stopping before touching anything. He noticed. I knew he did. Sit, I said. Wilder didn't sit right away. He turned back to me. You want to talk? No. Okay. He sat on my bed. No more questions. No pressure. Just there. I leaned against the desk. Distance between us 9 meters. Safe. I needed that distance. What are you remembering? Wilder asked, voice low. I tensed. What? Whatever's making you not okay. I didn't answer. You don't have to give details, he added. Just say what it is. I looked at the floor. A small scratch near the leg of the desk. I couldn't remember when it appeared. Rare. Sounds, I said. What sounds? Arguing. Wilder was quiet. From when? From a long time ago. Family? I nodded. You don't have to. I remember everything. I cut him off. My voice wasn't steady anymore. Every sentence, every word, every sound. I swallowed. It doesn't stop. Wilder didn't say anything. He just listened, really listened. No interrupting, no fixing, no trying to help the way other people usually did. Sometimes, I continued, voice smaller. I don't know what the present is anymore. The air grew heavy. Hey! Wilder's voice was gentle. Look at me. I didn't want to, but I did. He was looking at me, not curious, not pitying, just present, that's all. You're here, Wilder said. Right now. I breathed. You're in your room. I'm here. No one is arguing. I clenched my fist, but I listened. Xander, he said softly, stay with me. That sentence wasn't a command, wasn't a request. It was an invitation. I took a breath. 1, 2, 3. The sounds in my head slowed down. They didn't disappear, but they moved farther away. Good, Wilder said. Don't. Sorry. He raised his hands. I'll shut up. I shook my head. No, it's okay. A silence, but not uncomfortable. I don't know what to do, I said. You don't have to do anything, Wilder replied. Just don't be alone. I smiled faintly. You say that like you'll always be here. Wilder looked at me. 1 second, 2 seconds, maybe. My heart stopped. Don't say that, I said. Why? Because you don't understand. Understand what? That I will remember it. I know. No, I shook my head. You don't. I took a step back. Distance, too. For meters. Safer. If you say things like that, I said slowly, I'll remember. And if one day you're not here anymore. I stopped. Couldn't finish. Then what? Wilder asked. I looked at him, and for the first time, I said the thing I had always avoided. Then I'll never escape it. Silence. Long. Wilder didn't argue. Didn't say I won't go anywhere. Didn't promise. He stood up. I tensed. Distance decreased 6 meters. You're scared of me, Wilder said. No. Yes. I'm scared of the memory, I corrected, and I'll become part of it. I didn't answer. So what's your solution? Wilder asked. Keep distance. So you don't have to remember? So I don't have to hurt. Wilder nodded slowly. Sounds logical. I didn't expect him to agree. But, he continued, I knew there would be a but. You already remember me. That sentence stabbed straight into me. Impossible to deny. Impossible to avoid. From the moment you looked at me for 17 seconds, Wilder said softly. From the moment you corrected me to 83 meters. From the first time you said, thank you. I stopped breathing. You can't not remember me, he concluded. A simple truth. Cruel. Accurate. I turned away. Couldn't look at him. I know. My voice was very small. So then, Wilder said, why not try remembering something worth remembering? I turned back, heart racing. You can't control what you remember, he continued. But maybe you can choose what you keep. I looked at him. For the first time, I didn't see danger. I saw possibility. Will you stay? I asked. The question slipped out before I could think. Wilder smiled faintly. Yeah. That night we didn't talk much. We just sat. Same room. Same space. And for the first time in a very long time, my memories weren't the only thing that existed. There was now someone else. Wilder slept over. Not in the way you're thinking. Nothing crossed the line. No touching. No movie romance moments. Just he was there. And I didn't push him away. I handed him a blanket. You can take the bed, Wilder said, glancing at the couch by the window. I don't mind. I do. Xander. I'm used to it. Not a lie. I was used to shallow sleep. Used to waking up in the middle of the night. Used to memories forcing their way in. Wilder didn't argue. He just nodded. Okay. We turned off the lights at 11:47 p.m. I remember. Of course I remember. The darkness didn't help. It only made everything in my head clearer. But that night, something was different. I'm still here, Wilder said softly from the bed. I didn't answer, but I heard. I closed my eyes. The memories started. Like always. Arguing. Voices. Shattering sounds. But this time, there was something else. Wilder's voice. Stay with me. Two sounds. Layered. Colliding. And for the first time, the new sound wasn't swallowed. I slept. Not deeply. Not peacefully. But I slept. I woke up at 3:26 a.m. Heart racing. Cold sweat. A dream. No. A memory. I sat up. Breathed. 1, 2. Xander. Wilder's voice hoarse. Sleepy. Did I wake you? No, I said. You okay? I didn't answer right away. No, I said finally. A pause. Then, light, Wilder asked. Not necessary. The sound of blankets shifting. A small movement. The distance between us shrank. I didn't look, but I knew. You remembering again? Wilder asked. Yeah. Want to talk about it? No. Okay. No pressure. Always like that. Just listen to me for a second, Wilder said quietly. I don't. Just listen. You don't have to do anything. I didn't refuse. You're here, he said. 3:26 in the morning. Room 312. There's an idiot sitting about a meter away from you, trying to help. I let out a small laugh. Couldn't help it. What do you hear? Wilder asked. I closed my eyes. Focused. Fan, I said. Yeah. Car far away. Yeah. And you? Wilder was quiet for a second. Good, he said. My breathing slowed. The memories were still there, but farther away. Thank you, I said, the second time, a little easier than the first. You owe me a coffee, Wilder replied. I don't drink coffee. Then water, but fancy water. I shook my head. We went back to sleep, or tried. The next morning I woke at 6:12, like always. But something was different. I didn't open my eyes right away. I listened. Breathing, not mine. Steady, slow. Wilder. A simple truth, but it made me calm. I opened my eyes. Morning light slipped through the curtains. Soft, not harsh. Wilder was still asleep, hair messy, blanket crooked, one hand hanging off the edge of the bed. I looked, for too long. I knew. But I didn't turn away. You staring at me? His voice hoarse, not fully awake. I startled. No. You're a terrible liar. I sighed. Do you talk in your sleep? Only to interesting people. I frowned. Don't start that again. No promises. He sat up, stretched. The distance. Too close. I stood up immediately, created distance too. 1 meters. Safe. Wilder looked at me, said nothing, just understood. Thanks for last night, I said. Yeah, he nodded. Me too. You too. Yeah, I slept better. I raised an eyebrow. In the room of a control-obsessed person? In the room of a real person. That sentence stayed with me. We left the room together, 7:02. 1 minute earlier than usual. You're ruining my schedule, I said. I'm improving it. No. Yes. We walked side by side, not touching, but close. Xander, Wilder called. Yeah. You realize, right? Realize what? You didn't kick me out. I stayed silent. Because he was right. That's progress, Wilder said. I'm not sure. I am. I looked at him. Sunlight hit his eyes. Blue. Clear. I don't know what I'm doing, I said. Nobody does, Wilder shrugged. We just do it. I didn't like that answer, but I didn't hate it either. We stopped in front of the library, the same spot. Wilder stopped. So did I. You remember the first time we met? He asked. I almost laughed. I remember everything. Wilder smiled. Yeah, I forgot. A moment of silence. Back then, he said, I thought you'd never talk to me. I thought so too. And now? He didn't finish. I looked at him. Now what? I asked. Wilder didn't answer right away. Now, I don't want to stop, he said. My heart stopped. The distance wasn't as important as before. And that was probably the most dangerous thing of all. I knew I had gone too far. I knew from the moment I didn't kick Wilder out of my room that night. But knowing didn't mean I could stop. The days after that became different. Not big changes. No dramatic turning points. Just small things. Very small. But for me, those small things were always the ones that stayed the longest. Wilder started appearing in every empty space of my life. Not always on purpose. Sometimes just a text. Where are you? I bet you're in the library. Don't forget to eat lunch. I wasn't used to someone remembering me, not in the normal way, but in the active way. I'm not a child, I said once when he reminded me to eat. Yeah, Wilder replied, but you act like a machine. Machines don't take care of themselves. I'm surviving fine. You're existing, he corrected, not living. I hated when he was right. We started eating lunch together. The first time was because Wilder dragged me. The times after, I stopped refusing. The cafeteria was loud. Too many sounds. Too many people. Too much to remember. I don't like this place, I said, stopping at the door. I know, Wilder answered. That's why I picked the corner table. I looked where he pointed. Far from the door. Few people walking by. Soft lighting. He had thought ahead. You don't have to do that, I said. Yeah, Wilder shrugged. But I want to. I didn't know how to respond, so I stayed silent. We sat down. Distance 0. 9 meters. Closer than usual. I noticed, but I didn't move farther away. You're making progress, Wilder said. I'm losing control. No, he shook his head. You're learning how not to control. I'm not sure that's a good thing. For you, it's very good. I looked at the tray in front of me, didn't touch it. Eat, Wilder said. I'm not hungry. You didn't eat breakfast. You couldn't possibly know. You left the room at 7:02. Cafeteria opens at 7 o'clock. But you have class at 8 o'clock. Not enough time. I looked at him. You're doing what I do, I said. Wilder smiled. Yeah, pretty interesting. I don't think so. I do. I picked up the fork. Ate slowly. Wilder didn't say anything else, just stayed there. And the strange thing was, I finished everything. Good job, he said. Don't talk to me like I'm a child. You just completed a difficult mission. Eating lunch isn't a mission. For you it is. I didn't argue. After lunch, we walked around campus. No purpose, no destination. I wasn't used to walking without a reason, but I walked anyway. Xander, Wilder said. Yeah. Have you ever thought who you would be if you didn't remember everything? I stopped. No one had ever asked that. I don't know, I said. Try imagining. I'm not good at imagining. You're good at everything else. I breathed out. Maybe I'd be lighter, I said. Lighter. Yeah, fewer things weighing me down. Wilder nodded. But, I continued, but I also wouldn't remember the good things. He looked at me. Like what? Wilder asked. I didn't answer right away, because the answer was too clear. That night, I said, in your room. I remember every detail, I nodded. If I weren't like this, maybe it would fade. Wilder was quiet. Do you want it to fade? He asked. I shook my head. No. A simple answer, but it meant something. So then, Wilder said, maybe it's not entirely a curse. I looked at him. Don't romanticize it, I said. I'm not. He shook his head. I'm just saying, it doesn't only have one side. I wasn't sure I agreed, but I didn't deny it. We kept walking. Hey, Wilder said suddenly. What? You want to try this? Try what? He stepped closer, closer than usual. Distance 0. 5 meters. I tensed. Relax, Wilder said. I'm not doing anything. You're standing too close. I know. My heart beat faster. I want to try something, he said. If you don't like it, I'll stop immediately. I should have said no. I knew that. But I didn't. Okay, I said. Wilder raised his hand. Slowly, very slowly. I watched every movement, every centimeter. Look at me, he said. I did. His eyes. Steady. No pressure. Just for a second, Wilder said softly. His hand touched my wrist. Very lightly, almost no pressure. But for me, felt like an explosion. Everything, sounds, images, memories, stopped. One moment, very short. No past, no noise, nothing. Except that feeling. Warm, real, present. I breathed sharply. Wilder pulled his hand back immediately. I'm sorry. No. I grabbed his wrist. This time, it was me. We both stood still. Distance. Gone. Don't pull away, I said, my voice low. Wilder didn't move. We stood like that. 1 second, 2, 3. I could feel my heartbeat, not overwhelmed by memories, not suffocated by the past. Just the present. I let go, stepped back. Distance 1, 3 meters. Safe, but not the same as before. What did you just do? I asked. Wilder looked at me. I don't know, he said honestly. I swallowed. Do it again. He blinked. You sure? I nodded. Yeah. And that was the moment I knew. I had crossed a line. There was no going back.